John, do you ever want a mouth guitar when you hear that intro? Like the chicka chicka?
I don't ever want a mouth guitar, but I do find myself playing the drums on my chest quite often.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Like
but
a gorilla.
as the intro was just going, it was just like dun, 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 chicka, chicka, dun, dun. I wanted to chicka chicka. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the SHW F1 podcast. We are your underinformed American buddies talking F1. I'm Tom Delicati here with John White and Brady King.
Hey.
And it's our lead up to Imola this week. We've got a little bit of Alpine to sprinkle in tonight.
Just a little.
Tom went to Vegas last week, and we'll give my first-hand opinion of the F1 experience, the immersive F1 experience.
Did you third person yourself there?
I did.
Okay.
Is that okay?
And
Yeah.
first person, but in the same
Yeah.
sentence. Like you switch back and forth. That was kind of cool.
Third
Everybody
person,
knows.
omnipresent. Very professional of you. I like it.
Thank you. There's some car technical specification stuff to talk about with McLaren, especially with their brakes. And we're going to make our top 5, bottom 5 picks. So let's just kick things off with Alpine being up to their old tricks. Brady, you are a resident Alpinist with a
Is
T
that-
at the end.
Yeah.
Alpinist.
Penis?
Mhm.
Penist.
Alpinist.
Are we going to have
Yeah.
to beep some of this? I think we might have to, right?
Nobody listens anyways.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Okay, so Colapinto's back, everybody. He's been gone for like 6 weeks, and now he's back. So I'm going to ask you guys, I don't know how to feel about this. I was excited to have him back. If you recall, I made a prediction that we weren't going to make it to week 10 without him coming back. But then, in sort of another surprise move, we bring him back, but then we give him an extremely short leash and say, you've only got 5 weeks to prove yourself, which, how do you drop somebody into a new car and say, you got 5 weeks, let's go? What are we thinking here? What is Alpine doing? Also, their boss is gone, and now Flavio is in charge again, apparently. This sounds like chaos, but I don't know. I don't really know what to read into this situation. I'm kind of confused.
Well, I still know very little about the Flavio history
Yeah.
from years and years ago. But I
mean, he cheats
did
to win,
kind of,
right?
yeah, but I did kind of have that inkling when they brought him back last year and there was a big hubbub about it. To
Mhm.
me, this felt like a when and not if
Yeah.
he took over himself or, decided that he was the right man for the job, at least, temporarily I'm going to be in charge as the team principal. What a load of horse crap. Like, we all knew this was going to come eventually. It just maybe came sooner or later than some predicted.
So is he like the, for those of us baseball fans, Brady, I know you're one. Tom, I believe you are as well. Is Flavio like the Pete Rose of Formula One? Like, was really good at what he did, but then found out he was doing some things that weren't following
He was
the
banned
rules?
from the sport. So
Okay,
they had
so
that in common.
There's there's
And
ball
unbanned,
one.
apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Relevant news for the day, right? Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's what made me think of it. Yeah.
I mean, he's won championships with Renault and now Alpine. So he's got the credentials, but then the question was how much of it was cheating, how much of it was real? Really, we can only point to one thing, like one incident of him cheating, which is what got him kicked out in the first place.
That was the crash, right?
That was the crash,
orchestrated wreck.
the orchestrated wreck, which helped out Alonso. And now, all these years later, he came back. You'd think there'd be some sort of contrition or something to show that he was like, I understand I did wrong, and now I'm back. But instead, he kind of came back and he's just like, yep, I'm here. Everybody deal with it. I'm just gonna run my way roughshod through this team again. I just
Have
don't
you seen the
understand how
way
he's
he
got that much
dresses?
pull.
A man that dresses like that has no remorse for anything ever.
See,
Right?
I took a look at him and I thought, gosh, has he been in John's closet?
Like I said, no remorse.
That's
ever.
right.
I mean, his track record of dating says that he's doing something correct. I mean, he has gone through several supermodels.
Yes, it's called being a billionaire.
well, I mean that too.
Yeah, him and Bill Belichick both have something in their favor. I just don't know what it is. Can't put my finger on it.
So I think the relevant question here for now is Colapinto screwed? he's only got, I mean, they say he's only got 5 races. So, I mean, why even say that unless they're actually only going to give him 5 races? And I mean, is there any way that you can stand up to Flavio's expectations?
I don't mind what they're doing. I know 5 races seems short, but it seems like, and we've seen this with a couple of drivers this year. We saw it with drivers last year, mainly Checo with, contract extensions and then not getting renewed. And is he in? Is he out? I don't mind them putting a timeline on, hey, you have 5 races to perform. At least like the expectations are clear across the board. Everybody knows how many races he has. He knows what he has to do to perform. And really all he's got to do is better than what Jack's been not doing. Like he has 0 points. Can you get more than 0 in 5 races? And if so, your chances of staying are probably pretty good because who else is out there right now? That's the other thing. Is like these 5 races go away. Who are they going to bring? Checo? Well, I don't think they're going to bring Checo. I don't think they're going to bring Danny because I think those two boys are slated for Cadillac. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't see them dipping into another rookie pool, and certainly not if they're trying to give everybody an extremely short leash. That's why I'm just kind of surprised that they gave him, like, they even announced that it was 5 weeks. If you're going to do that, why not just leave that internally or not at all? I'm just kind of surprised that that was even like a stipulation. Like, why not just say he's here? This is what we're going to do. And then, I mean, if he's terrible, well, then you can, I mean, you already fired one driver this year, so you can do it again. But this extra pressure of like now every time Colapinto does anything that isn't quite, 100% awesome, then everybody's going to be like, oh, got 4 weeks left now, 3 weeks left after that. I mean, I don't know. Seems like a lot of pressure.
I'm kind of with you, John. I do like the timetable. That way we're not guessing.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the song and dance around Daniel and Checo, when that happened, I mean, we were like, the rumors, and it was just swirling around the paddock. And I'd almost rather it be clear cut up front. That way, you know what you're getting yourself into, and you know what you got to get out of it. I still don't think it's a clear cut like points equals more time in the seat. I do think that helps because that's a very tangible result. But those also can be kind of flukish, and so I would see more like how is he comparing with his lap time deltas to Gasly versus what Doohan was doing. Where is he qualifying compared to Gasly versus what Doohan was doing? That Gasly's the benchmark, and he's probably the only one safe in that entire company, at least for the next 12 months. But I think that's the benchmark. You're just comparing him to the other driver, the one who has the seat, and you're deciding who is going to be our best fit, not for the rest of this year, but who's going to be our better long-term fit for 2026 and beyond. That's what they're trying to evaluate now and get that sewn up so that they can get someone under contract for next year. The problem is that the best man for the job was Esteban Ocon.
Yeah.
If they didn't have him leave, if they would have played their cards a little bit better, I think they would have been better suited for this year in 2026 and whatnot. I don't think that Ocon and Gasly got along very well, and I don't think that he was a great cultural fit for the team, but I do think that he was the best option.
I don't know. He's French and an asshole, so I figured that's pretty much. Isn't that
that's only 2 strikes, John. That's not 3.
Yeah. Okay, we need the third. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I can see the 5 races, and I guess we can probably harp on this for a minute or move on to the next thing. We've got 18 races left. Do we think that this is a scenario where Alpine realizes they're not going to do much this season, and it's five races, and they're just going to try to put as many drivers in live scenarios as possible to get 2026 in line?
I mean, I hope they realize that they're not going to do much 3 or 4 races ago. Like their car is just not that good.
It's not, but I mean, what better way to figure out who you want your driver to be than to give this guy 5 races, the next guy 5 races, the next guy 5. You've got a handful left over. You got 3 left over. Hopefully one of them does well. They keep them on. And now instead of just putting these guys out to get times, they're actually putting them in real race scenarios to see how they're going to compete.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's hard because like the later you get into a season, the more of a moving target it is. Like you can't compare the final 5 races of the year to the first 5 races of the year because the car has been developed over the course of the year. And
Yeah.
You're really driving two different vehicles at the beginning of the year versus the end of the year. So I don't know. I just think it's very difficult to compare. In the short term, I still don't like the driver change. I think that Doohan should have made it to the summer break at a minimum. It's not like he's doing horrendous and crashing the car every week. I mean, he's done that a few times, but so is every other rookie.
Yeah.
Like everybody's making mistakes right now. Everybody's learning, yet he's the one that gets pulled, and it's only because Colapinto's waiting in the wings. I feel like that's the only reason that he is getting the hook right now.
Yeah, I think that's maybe you're kind of like reminding me one of the reasons why it's so surprising that they gave him 5 weeks was we kind of said this from the beginning that it seemed like this was Colapinto's seat. They were just kind of like, well, we can't fire the guy that we just hired. Like that doesn't make like that's going to look really, really bad. But okay, if that's the guy that you wanted, if you really wanted Colapinto, then why are you saying you're giving him 5 weeks? The only thing I can come up with here is that they feel bad that they have to let Doohan go. So they're trying to say something like, well, we're only going to give him 5 weeks. So feel better about yourself out there, when really that's not what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think it's the 5 weeks is more of a PR move, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Crazy Frenchies.
And on that note, okay, so we can talk about Vegas real quick because it is going to be real quick. I went to Vegas last week for a software conference, and later in the evening on Tuesday, I decided I was going to walk down to the F1 Experience, to the headquarters. Now, cut me some slack. It was 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night, so I can't really have high expectations, but the place was dead. And they really Vegasified it, if that makes sense. Like there's this really high-end steakhouse on one side, and there's the karting track down below, which honestly, and John, I mean, maybe this is more of a you and I thing, but I'd rather go to Andretti down over here at Alliance by the Motor Speedway, because
Really?
the karting, it looked horrible. There was no elevation change. It was all just flat, like, here, do these 28 turns, and the track was narrow. There's not really a whole lot of places to pass. The only thing that was cool about it was like you get to go out into the pit lane as part of the track, but you're not really paying attention to it. You're racing. And so I walked through the store. I saw the simulators, which again, give me Andretti. It's cheaper and it's more accessible. And I walked through the build your own F1 car experience thing. I mean, there were people there that were very friendly. They were very helpful. But honestly, I walked through that whole thing and I thought, I am not spending a dime here. This looks so dumb.
No souvenirs, no nothing.
Unless I wanted a $70 baseball cap.
I feel like you're describing a lot of Vegas, at least for me in general, which
Right.
is like
They Vegasified this supremely.
Yeah, where it's like, I think it's going to be awesome, and then you get there and it feels like a cheap knockoff that costs 5 times what it should.
That's really unfortunate, because I was looking forward to you coming back. I know you shot the video for us and we got to see the track, and I thought that was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
it's disappointing because most people that are going to seek that out, not stumble upon it, but seek it out, are F1 fans. And so you would think that they would cater to the things that the F1 fan wants to see and experience, and it doesn't sound like they did that.
I think it depends. I think it depends on what level of hobbyist you are. Like, for example, I had my own little sim racing thing for a couple of years, and I really enjoyed that. It was just a computer and a screen and a chair and wheel and pedals, but from a simulator standpoint, it was pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it. And so I put in some quote unquote seat time in that. I've gone karting before a bunch of times. I've gone, and done, I've raced, exotic cars on the track out there in Vegas. So I've done more of like the adult Vegas things. And I've also done more of the adult F1 enthusiast who has disposable income things. And I couldn't justify spending the money on that experience because it just looked kind of and felt kind of Mickey Mouse compared to what you were paying for it. I did not see the return on investment. So that's how I would put it. It is a very cool setting. the building is super cool. The decor is awesome. The experience in itself was actually really neat. I just couldn't justify the money. The return on investment wasn't there for me.
Well, and they're probably in a different position than a lot of the other shops. Maybe not in Vegas, but other similar shops that you're comparing to, right? Like Andretti, you're seeking that out for a certain experience. But in Vegas, like the F1 headquarters doesn't have to make money to stay there. That building's going to be there whether they pull a dime in or not. So jack the prices up, and if some people decide to spend some money, great. And if they don't, it's no sweat.
Well, 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, the week after it opened, there were about 8 cars in the parking lot and maybe 20 people in the whole thing. So take that for what it's worth. But, don't let my opinion skew yours. If you want to go experience it for yourself, I highly recommend you do. If you're in Vegas, I would not make a trip to Vegas for this, if that makes sense.
Hey, let me poop on this for 10 minutes. But if you want to go do it, I recommend it.
You are your own boss. I am not the boss of you. All right, let's take a quick break and we'll come back. Chest drums on that, John?
No. I was thinking
only on the intro.
But only on the intro. I think it's because I'm waiting for the next segment to start whenever the break music comes through.
So do you want chest drums when there's a guitar? And then do you do like guitar when there's drums? Or is
no,
there like
the chest drums were for the actual drum beat. But I do hum the guitar part in my head. I'm like a one-man band, Brady.
You have like an accordion, you got a little squeeze box going on.
I've got a foot stomping over here on the hi-hat and just like a chicken.
So before we get to our next topic, do we have a word from our sponsor this week?
We do. This week's sponsor is pasta. Go eat it. When you sponsor the race with the longest name, one word is all you need. Pasta.
I was going to say, who's the company? The company is Pasta.
Yep, there is no company.
Yeah, it is the conglomerate it's the Pasta Association of Italy that has sponsored this, and they just want people to eat pasta. Doesn't matter where you get it from, just go eat it.
Carbs,
They're like the farmers,
carbs.
Yeah, but it's healthier in Italy, because when you go over there to Italy, you lose weight from eating pasta, not from walking 25,000 steps a day whenever you usually walk 3,000.
So apparently there's a situation with the brakes on the McLaren. I did not really look into this very much, so Brady, you're going to have to lead us through this one.
All right. So this kind of goes back a few weeks, and sort of the drama here is just that a couple of teams have been accusing McLaren of cheating with their brakes.
Red Bull.
Specifically Red Bull and Horner. And sort of the funny part of this was McLaren sort of making fun of them back where they had like on the pit wall, they had water bottles with tire water written on the side because they were accusing them of using water to cool the tire. That was pretty funny. So what they're really accusing them of is using water to cool the tires. Which would be illegal because you can't use water cooling in the car. And the reason it's so relevant is in Miami in particular, you can see all the cars were really battling tire degradation. Long stints, tires kind of going off, especially on the rear tires, except for McLaren. McLaren just wasn't having that happen. Supposedly, Red Bull has like thermal imaging and where it shows on the tires some like cool spots on the tires, which they claim is indicative of water cooling. But if you listen to some more of the experts, they're explaining how they can do this with both just air cooling and specifically phase change materials. So they're using a special set of materials that like essentially get to a certain temperature and then absorb a lot more heat before they transfer the heat to the other side. So what they're basically saying is that they have coated the inside of the brake ducts with this special material, which is preventing the heat from the brakes getting into the tires, which is making the tires run cooler, which is letting them run longer and better, essentially. So supposedly the F1 or the FIA has looked at this and now said that, hey, this is all kosher, we're good to go. So now everybody else has got to catch up. So maybe this is just a big nothing burger, but unless the other teams can figure out exactly what they're doing, McLaren may continue to run away, because as we've identified here, even in our podcast, tires seem to be the thing this year, right? It's not necessarily just setup. It's not necessarily just the car. Getting longer stints, doing well with your tires and staying out longer and getting that little extra performance out of tires seems to be the biggest advantage that you can scrap. So maybe McLaren really is onto something, and maybe just through their tire setup.
So McLaren have found some sort of magic spray to put on their brake
the
ducts.
soccer spray.
Yeah. It's like a flubber, but
Yeah.
instead it goes in their brake ducts, and now all of a sudden the tires are just staying cooler in the center.
I'm not sure if it's
towards
in the
edge,
center.
I guess.
Yeah, it's more about that they just are able to keep the tire temperature a little bit lower. I guess in the carcass is probably more where it's appropriate. I don't know. That part probably escapes me. We're not experts. I don't claim to be a tire expert.
Carcass
but I did
makes me
listen to a
think of
lot of
turkey.
videos this week. Say it again.
Not to get derailed, but when you say carcass, it makes me think of turkey for some odd reason. Not any part of an F1 car, like the carcass. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, people.
Tom, what are your thoughts here?
I think it's really hard to suggest that there's something in the system to cool the tires. I think it's way more likely that they figured out something with the way the aerodynamics are playing well together. I think because these cars are so ground effectsy, I think that they've just unlocked something that doesn't overheat the tires the way that other cars do, and they've done it with aerodynamics. And they might not have done it on purpose. They might have just fallen ass backwards into it, but here we are. And so maybe that's why we don't think or know what the reason is. I don't think it's deliberate outside of the regulations.
If the FIA looked at it and said it's kosher, I have to suspect that it is. I mean, I have no reason to. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about the FIA, right? But I don't think that they would look at it and go, well, this is blatantly illegal, and then just be like, man, we're not going to do anything about this. So I don't think that's the case. Do I think that they have some sort of technical advantage specifically in their brakes? I mean, there's an awful lot of talk about it, so I also can't discount that. I'm certainly not the expert, but at the end, does it really matter? I mean, they're clearly doing something that's making their tires last longer. So whether it's in the brakes or whether it's in the setup, it doesn't really matter. They've found something.
But here's the thing. I mean, making your tires last longer is one thing. I don't, and again, this is me as the idiot here. I don't know how that relates to them being able to go 1/10 of a second per lap faster than anyone, or 0.2 of a second.
Well, the argument is that by them not chewing up their tires as much, that like if it's half of a tenth here or 1/10 on one lap, then on the next lap, every other team is now down another 1/10, but they're doing as good as
again, like
teams were that lap.
I can understand that. I can understand that during a race, but in qualifying and one lap shootouts and stuff like that, they're still the fastest car. Like, what do you?
They are, but we've seen Mercedes right there with them, and we've seen Max been it. Well, I mean, Max is Max.
Yeah, but that's been the story for years. It's like some cars have it 1 lap pace and they don't have it on race day, or vice versa. They don't have the qualifying pace, but they make up for it on race day. That's been the case for years, ever since I started watching F1. That's been something that happens. That teams are really close on qualifying day and they separate themselves in the race, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I can't fault the logic. I really don't know in this situation. Again, maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, one way or the other. If the car is just better, the car is just better. Whether it's through brakes or through the aerodynamics, it doesn't particularly matter.
I think it does for the other teams, because it's something that they need to figure out in order to remain competitive. If I were a betting man, I would say McLaren are not cheaters. And if they are, it would be 1 person doing something that the rest of the team doesn't know about, right? Like
Yeah.
Zach and those guys, like they seem like they want to win legitimately. They've worked hard enough to be able to do it. They don't want to tarnish the reputation by cheating. And they've just, to Tom's point, they've figured something out. They're probably not going to tell everyone what they've figured out. Like I'd make up something about spraying some wobby jobby in the freaking brake ducts too, and let all the teams, mess around trying to figure that out, knowing, darn well that it's my aerodynamics that are somehow taking the air in and cooling the tires off or whatever. I don't know. I wouldn't tell everybody my secrets, but I don't think that they're cheating. But the tire water thing was the icing on the cake.
was
It's
classic.
it's better to play dumb and poke fun at yourself
Yeah.
than it is to get defensive and argumentative.
Yeah.
This is true.
All right. Well, let's wrap things up by doing our top 5, bottom 5 picks. And just to remind everyone, we do go top down on these. So our first place, our leader currently, Juan Blanco.
I like how you say currently, as in like after this week, I will not be the leader
No.
anymore.
How dare you insinuate that I was making such accusations?
I don't, but that's okay.
I was thinking it.
Yeah.
I just didn't actually do it.
Say it. All right.
Well, it all depends on my
this weekend-
3-pointer. So we'll start with the top 5. Oscar, Lando, Max, Kimmy,
Ooh.
and Charles.
Bold move, Cotton.
I like Kimmy.
I mean, so do I.
Oh, speaking of, we need to make it a, I don't know, maybe not a requirement for next week, but we do have an off week in 2 weeks. And so maybe we need to review The Seat on Netflix, which I looked at last night. It's only 40 minutes long, so that's not a big deal. I
plan on watching it tomorrow morning whilst on a plane.
Okay. Well, we should talk about that once everybody's watched it, because apparently it's very, very good.
All right.
Okay.
Anyways, your bottoms.
Bottom. Bort. Can't say do anymore, but I can still say Law. I can still say Hadge. I can still say Ollie. And poor Fernando Alonso is having a hard time.
Okay. Your
3-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
The new driver for Alpine will make it into Q3.
A Colapinto Q3, huh?
Yep.
I dig it.
I don't hear any pushback. I
think it's a little
with
weak,
5 DNFs,
But I don't like arguing.
but-
5 DNF.
That was going to be too many.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
fine with it.
Okay. So for my Imola top 5, it will be Leclerc, Norris, Piastri, Russell, and Maximilian. And then my bottom, I will take Bortoletto, Behrman, Stroll. Ooh, it's getting kind of tough. I'll take the Racing Bulls, Hadjar and Lawson. Why not?
There you go.
Dude, the bottom is tough, right?
They've
It
got to
is
be able
tough.
to just.
I mean, it's kind of chaos.
These
I like the
guys.
Stroll pick, though.
Yeah, thank you.
He's
And my
due for a mess up.
3-pointer is we're going to see a Ferrari podium. Is that bold enough to be a 3-pointer?
A Ferrari podium. I think so. I don't think they got a shot in hell.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think. And so it's worth a 3-pointer to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it.
Doctor?
Yeah, I dig it. All right. So for my top, let's do Lando, Piastri, Max, Russell, and Leclerc. Paint by numbers.
Come join me. The water's
Yeah,
warm.
right. Yep. And my bottoms. I wrote down doing by like just sheer like
Yeah. I haven't changed the name in my system either. So I'm picking Jack doing for all of us. Yeah.
Just have it.
okay, so give me Bort, Lawson, Hadger, Stroll, and Hulk.
Okay.
3-pointer. Colapinto points.
Ooh.
I almost did that. So I will give it to you because that
All right.
was going to be mine.
So that's it. That's our show.
We did it.
Oh, man. I'm so proud of us.
Another one in the books.
I hope we passed the audition.